Hi folks, Rich Pasini here from rjpasini-com. I'm coming to you today to offer some saving tips on shipping supplies. In this particular case, I'm doing a segment on padded envelopes and how you can get more out of one envelope as opposed to one, and utilizing the envelope itself. So I got over here a couple things here. I have the Sims Game 2, Sims 2 here, University. And the reason why I have these here is I'm just trying to show you the thickness and the size of it. Here's a DVD. Well, it's a Wii game. Okay. Here is the, excuse me, the PS3 game. You can see it's a little smaller in size. Okay. Another DVD, of course. And then you got your full-size VHS. Okay. I also have these little cartridges. The things I just showed you are being listed on eBay as well. These are all on eBay. And the reason I'm making this video is because I want to show you something, what I do on how to utilize certain things. Now, for example, I have these envelopes here, 4 by 7 inches. These are great for stuff like this here. If you want to put it in here and you got the envelope in there. This is a perfect size for that. I save a lot of cut pieces. Now you're probably saying, what would I use this for? Saving a piece like this here, no, you can't put this little thing in there, tape it up and send it off. No, you can't do it. But sometimes you might want to use a padded envelope like this piece here to protect something. If you had something that you don't want the edge to get damaged, you would save it. You would use this piece of bubble wrap, whatever, part of the envelope. Now, you got these big monsters like this thing here. I don't know what size this here is. This is 14 inches by 19 inches. This is a big guy. Look at it. It takes up practically the whole screen here. Now, with an envelope like this, you could get a couple envelopes out of this here. For example, you got to weigh it up. Like this here, for example, what I would do is, with this envelope, with this 14 by 19 inch, I would trim along here, right? Sometimes you got to play around. You got to see where you get more bang for the buck. Okay. Now you might say, well, this is kind of silly, but not really. I'll be honest with you, it's not. When you got to buy the supplies, it's not silly. So, you might want to do is you weigh it up. Like, in other words, you're gonna eye it up and see which way is best, how much more you're gonna get out of it. So if you put the tape this way, and you have the fold mark where you cut along here, now you can get 2 out of this here. Okay, that's for this one here, the thicker one here, or the thin one. For this guy here, it's the same thing, but the only thing is, because it's thicker, it's going to puff it out more. But again, you can cut this down to size and get, again, 2 envelopes. But you actually, with this here, with this size envelope, you can get 4 out of this here. Okay. The VHS might be a little different because it is larger. Again, you can, if you get it to the side and you cut this off here, you could probably get 2 from here, maybe 2, maybe not. Okay, so this one here, you can get maybe 1 over here and this way here, like that. And what I'm trying to say, the whole purpose of this here is, you get an envelope like this, you don't have to buy all these different types of envelopes. You don't have to buy these small ones like I have here. They got the skinny ones here, like this. Then you have this type of envelope. If you want to save yourself all the trouble and you don't mind cutting the envelopes up, and using them, this is what I would suggest you do. And this one envelope, I got this thing at the dollar store, one of these stores, and I paid $1 for it. So out of this one here, I can get 4 envelopes. So it might be something to think about. And the smaller the package, again, depending how you do it, like this one here, you could probably get 2, and you can get the same thing 4 here. So basically, if you round it off, you can get from an envelope this size, you can get 4 other envelopes to do this here, to package your stuff up. Okay. And like I said, I have these here, these big envelopes, but the reason why I have is because I do sell some clothes sometimes. But if you have big packages, you might want to, again, use something like this here. Like you could put a small board game in here, like a small board game, something very narrow. It's pretty big. It is a big envelope. But that's what I have for that there. And again, I saved some of these pieces here. Like, people probably wonder, why would you save cut pieces like this? I'm not going to say I'm going to pad them together. But if you're putting something in a box and you might need something a little cushion, you could rip it open like this here and, you know, wrap it around. It does have the bubble wrap in there. I mean, I save the scraps, you know. You might say, well, that's really being frugal. But when you're doing a lot of volume, if you're selling a lot of stuff like that, you're going to want to try to, you know, save as much as you can. Like this little one here. Now you say, what am I going to do with the little envelope like this? It's ripped, right? Well, it's cut, not ripped. Okay. Here you go. You put it in there, right? You put that in there. Okay. You get the craft tape. You tape like this. You print out a small label. Okay, you can print them out. Like my printer, I can enlarge the labels and make them small. I can get a label that prints right on here. I can send this off like that. Or if you don't want to do that, you don't feel secure, you say, yeah, I might get lost in the mail, then you go with this size envelope. Okay, you can use that size. This is a 4x7. But I'm just trying to say, I could use this stuff. I mean, this here would go. I mean, I've seen envelopes come small like this here. You know, you tape it up. And that would be good for this type of cartridge. This piece would be good for this type of cartridge and this one. Okay, so that's that. The other thing is I save cardboard. I'm gonna put that on the side over here. I save cardboard, and I also save the paper that it comes in. Now you might be saying, why would you save this paper? You know, with eBay or any type of business, you want your customers to feel that they got something. You know, when it's coming to them, it's coming in good shape. And if you want to make a good impression on yourself, you take this here. You say, well, you ain't going to peel this off because it's hard to peel off. But, you know, you put something like this in here. Right? You put something like this in the kind of thing here. If you want. You don't have to. But if you want. Cut this off. And you tape it up there. And now when the person gets it, it looks nice like that. So I utilize everything. I mean, I want to leave a low carbon footprint, you know. But that's what I do. I save these here. I save the plastic. When you get big pieces like this here, you can't peel this off, of course. So I use the bottom part. And again, I might want to use that for maybe for this VHS. You know, so I put the VHS in here like this here. All right, like this. And then when you send it to the customer, well, you're not going to have this part on there. When you send it to the customer, they get it wrapped up. You know, you want to make a good impression on your customers too. And not only that, it shows that you care. So that's one of my other tips. I mean, I save the plastic that comes off the envelopes, okay? Again, I do have a variety of envelopes, but I think eventually, like I have like this type of envelope here. It's a mid-size. This one here is 9.5 by 13. And then this is a little bigger. This is 10.5 by 15. You know, the thing is, buying all these envelopes is nice. When you got that size, everything's coming in, stuff like that. You know, it's best off. You're best off just getting one big envelope like this. I'll get a couple of them, right? And cut them down to size. And you can get all the little envelopes that I'm buying. This size, the small one, the medium-sized one. You could take them and cut them down to size. You might say, well, people might say, well, if you got like you're doing hundreds of these, you're not going to get cut. No, I'm talking about a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm talking about if you get a sale here and there, you get 5 of these, 10 of these. What's the big deal? You're cutting them, or if you don't want to even make it easy, if you don't want to cut it with a scissors, you get one of those things that you just chop it, and you can cut these down to size. I mean, think about it. Would you want to buy each envelope for this here, this size here? They probably have them. I don't know, but the ones I've seen, they have very limited. Think about this. You cut this down to size, right? Depending how you do it. And this way, if you do it this way, long-wise, you can get 4 of these. You can get 4. With one envelope. One big envelope, you get 4 of them. Just a tip to save. Okay. Plastic I save to wrap. You might say, what does this guy do with all this stuff? I find places for it, believe me. Okay. And then the other thing is, all this stuff is dropping all over the place. Now, I know you're probably going to think this is crazy. See this here? This is all cut cardboard. In one of my videos, I make custom boxes for myself. Of course, I don't do it for a living, but I consider myself box king. I'm only kidding. No, but I do make boxes. I do make custom boxes. A lot of this stuff goes in envelopes, of course. But when you get these oblong shaped things, I don't know, like I got a PS2 that's no, PS1 that's on sale, right? It's still being bidded for. And when that sells, I don't have a box for it. Now, I could go out and buy a box that size. I know like Walmart sells them, stuff like that. I don't know how much it is, for you get so many per bundle, whatever. I could buy those boxes and put it in there, and that's it. But the thing is, one of my videos, and you don't have to do this, folks. I do this for myself. This one here, you can see it right here. It's 18 by 18 by 24. This is a nice sized box. It's big. You can see it's pretty big. Well, because it's folded down, but when you open it up, it's like this size you got there. It's pretty big. It's a big box. Just to give you an idea what it's size. That's the size of it. It's pretty big. Now, again, with this box, in the videos, if you look at my videos on my video channel, I show you how to take a box this size, right? I show you how to take a box this size and cut it down and make other boxes. I use this here. This size box I use to make keyboard boxes with it, and I show you how it's done. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the post office has those boxes on size, for that size. When I show you my thing there in the first video, and if you're going to send a keyboard out via priority mail, it's going to cost you, I think, $18, something like that. People come to eBay to save money. They want to get more bang for the buck, and I don't blame them. I do the same thing. So I don't order boxes like that. I'm sure there's companies that have. There's probably a company called Uline that probably would make custom boxes, but that's if you're going to sell a particular item one after another. If you're going to stick strictly to computer keyboards, you could probably call a company, a box manufacturer, and say, look, I need a size 12 by 13 by 2 inches wide, whatever, in height. You could do stuff. I'm sure you could do stuff like that. I don't sell consistent keyboards. So I make my own. And if you watch that video, it's pretty cut and dry how to make it. I'm not saying everybody's going to do it. You're not. If you're selling 100 of those things, you're not going to sit there with a razor blade and pen marking whatever and do all that stuff. You're not going to do that. I mean, I think it's crazy. Then I would try to order. If I'm going to stick strictly with keyboards, then I would call up a box manufacturer, give them dimensions and size, and say, let me have 100, 200, 300, whatever. I would order them like that. But with the box like this size, believe it or not, depending on what I'm selling, this one box, okay, you look at it, it's like this. It's a big wide box. It's pretty wide, considering. I mean, this box is 10 times bigger than this. This box cost me $1.32 at Walmart. Okay. Now with this one box, depending on what I'm selling, and how big an item is, I could probably get maybe 2 to 4 boxes out of it. And if it's small, like for example, I sold one of those little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer figurines. Boxes they big. It is so simple. Let's say this was the item I was selling. What you do is you take a box like this. I'm just using this as an example. You take your pen, whatever. You trace a mark here. You want to score it. You want to score the box, not cut it in half. After you do that, you score it. You move it over this way. Now you got the fold for this. Again, you score it. Move it this way. And then when you keep doing that, and what happens is you get a fold, and then next thing you know, it goes right over this here. Piece of cake. If you want to send these out in boxes, that's the little. That's why I use the padded envelopes. But if you have something like that little Rudolph figurine was a figurine. So that's what I did. I put the box there, took a pen, traced it, scored it, flipped it over, scored it. As I was folding it, I was cutting it at the same time, scoring at the same time. So what you do is you get a nice little perfect box. You're not going to get a box that big. I had to make a custom box. That's what I do too. Okay, now, the other thing I like is craft paper. This paper here, it's okay. I got this at the dollar store. Walmart has a little thicker grade paper. You're going to pay a little more for, I think for a roll at Walmart, it might be maybe $2 and change, but it's a thicker roll, and it's a lot thicker paper. And what I do with this is, when I sell the luggage cases, I have like brief bags on there. What I do is I wrap plastic around the brief bag, and then I fold this up like it's like Christmas wrapping. You know, like you wrap just like you wrap a Christmas gift, and I make sure it's really secure. But I also wrap the bag in plastic, a thick plastic I got. I wrap it in there, then I wrap this over it. So when it gets there, and if it did, let's say God forbid, you know, it got wet or whatever, it's protected because it's got all heavy-duty plastic around it. So that's one of my tips with this here. I use this, like I said, for shipping things. If you got like game boards you want to use, you know, ship this on game boards, you could do that too. Like you got, I don't know, one of those little game boards, you could wrap it up and send it out that way. Now, getting back to this. This was all scraps from custom-made boxes, okay? You might wonder, why would you save scraps like this? Let me give you a little example. I had like a little stereo. I don't know what it was, yay big. And I didn't want to pack it with paper. Paper can get too heavy. In some cases, it can get heavy. I know you're probably saying I'm going to contradict myself, but what I did was, I did take a couple pieces of paper, right? You could do this also with bags too. And I taped it. You know, I'm just using an example. It was a lot bigger, the cardboard in strips. And I stuck paper in there, okay? Now, when you stuff the paper in there, you got a little cushion there, okay? The thing is, the whole object to that is shipping stuff is so we don't get it damaged. You know, you want something to take the cushion, take the hit, you know, if it falls, whatever. So what I did is I had, let's say this is the size I was going to use. I'd probably put one big piece of like New York Times, whatever, maybe one big piece there, put it in there, and depending how big the item is, I probably would have two of these here around it. And believe it or not, by doing this, it came out a lot cheaper than putting paper in there, okay? And it worked. I mean, I got my price point. The person I think paid, either $7 or $8 for the shipping. I made a custom box to the dimensions, and I did something like this here with that. Like I say, taped it, put the cardboard on it. I also used it on the pack on the sides. So when the person got that there, it was packed well. It didn't shake or anything. I did the old shake test. I always do a shake test before I send stuff out. And it worked. So I save all these little pieces of cardboard. People might say, I don't know where you put all this stuff, but this is all, believe it or not, all this here is from custom boxes. Well, some of them. I mean, some stuff I used that actually used it in boxes. And some stuff I did. Like little things like this, sometimes I just throw them out. But you never know. You might want to, let's say you were sending something. Let's say this was a fragile thing here. I'm just using an example. Let's say this was fragile. You were afraid it's going to get damaged. Or let's say, for example, you put it in one of those envelopes, a padded envelope, and you want to give it a little extra protection. You take it like this, right? Now you got a little added protection, right? Okay, you put a piece of tape there, you throw in a padded envelope, and now you got it there. So no, it's got rigidity, okay? But the thing I'm trying to say is, it's for things like that. I'm not going to do that in this case. When I send these out, I'm going to probably use an envelope like this, okay? People might get skeptic. Again, with this here, with this size envelope, again, depending how small it is, you could cut this and get two of these out. You can get out of this one envelope, you can get two. You know, it all depends what you want to do. I mean, if you don't feel comfortable with it, you know, people might say, or you could just fold it in half like this and just cut it in the middle. Some people might say, geez, that's kind of small. It might get lost in the mail. That's true. You know, you got to be careful. I mean, you're taking a chance, but for the most part, you could probably do it. You can get away with it. You know, but I'm just saying, you know, the whole idea of this video is just to give you like a little pointers on how I ship and how I try to save money and get more usage out of my you know, boxes and padded envelopes. But anyway, that's basically what I wanted to talk to you about. Is just like give you a little tip on that, on how to save stuff and try to get more usage out of your padded envelopes. And in that particular case, the boxes, you know, the one box. I buy a couple of these. I buy a couple of these boxes, And like I said, you can see the size here. It's right here, 18 by 18 by 24. And this here you can get at Walmart. I believe it's $1.32 plus the tax, of course. But with that, you could save a lot of money. I'm telling you, seriously. If you don't mind cutting the stuff, cutting the boxes up, making your own things, it's not bad. I mean, if you got the time to do it. And I picked up this one here, utility knife. What's nice about this here is, you know, if you got to change the blade, it's got a little lever here. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, and the lever, you pop it out here, and the blade pops out. Quick release type of thing. You put it in there, and I bought a pack of these here. And I always keep the cover. I mean, some people might throw them out, but I save the cover. You don't want to slice your fingers. When you push these two buttons in, this one here, there you go. It folds up like that for easy storage. This was like, I think, kind of $2-3, whatever it was. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't expensive. It does the job. And the thing is, you know, they had them in there. They had them. I seen them much as going as well. Sears has like nice ones. They got the Craftsman, the stainless steel for like, I don't know, $20 or $30, whatever. Something ridiculous. You know, they got the high-end ones. I just want something to cut boxes. I don't need that. The most important thing in this here, even for this plastic, the blade. And I'm going to tell you, folks, cutting boxes, believe it or not, does dull the blade out. It stands to reason. At least since I had this here, I at least changed the blade, at least 2 blades already. So I'm not saying I use it a lot. Sometimes I try to get more. I try to use as much as I can. I mean, sometimes you got to score it a couple times, but you get a nice sharp blade in there and you're making cuts and stuff like that for boxes, the best thing for you. And the other thing is, outside of that, in lieu of shipping stuff out and packaging things, the most important thing is postage scale. I picked this up at my local post office. I guess it's their brand because they got their logo on it. And this cost me $40. I think it was $40. And it's good. It's a great scale. It works good. It's only up to 10 pounds, but it works good. It's got the thing here where you could, if you have to put a package on there, you know, you had let's say this was in the package here. You know, you're weighing this stuff up like that. This was in the package, and it's got the thing to weigh it up. See, and you got the hold button here, the hold feature. So if you have to hold it, let's say the package covers the scale, you just hit the little button on there. I think I powered it off. There it is. Yeah, and you would hit this hold button here, and you should see like a little icon up here. Oh, where is it on that side there? I think it's over here. Yeah, something. I think it's blinking. Yeah, it's because I'm holding a scale. That's why the numbers are going crazy. This is a nice little scale. It's now they make them. When I bought this here. They didn't have the USB. Now they got the one that goes USB. It goes right into that. I guess you could plug it into USB port. This one don't have it. But needless to say, it's one of the most important things. Anybody in this eBay business or any type of business, you might want to consider definitely get one of these here. Or you could use the old-fashioned type where people put the thing on there, and you know it's got the lever that goes like this. When you put it on there, you push down on the lever, the dial spins around. That's that. And the other thing I have, which was another nice investment. Let's see here. But I'm trying to get it off here. I'm sorry. This one here. This here is a nice unit. It's Dymo, the label twin printer. This is a nice unit to have. It's a little. They range in prices. It's a little pricey, you know. Here you got your postage, and here you got your labels. Now, I don't think you could put. I think what this is, I use Indicia to use this to use this here to print my postage, and it's a nice unit. It's got the 2 in there, and you can see. I think it goes up to 2.5 inches. You can see the slots are big. I think it's 2.5 inches, 2 to 3 inches. But the thing is, if you're going to use it you have to buy the special labels, of course. But if you're going to use this to print those labels out that have the barcodes on them, stuff like that, don't quote me on it. I didn't really check 100% on it. I think I might have in the past, but I don't remember. You have to have an account with them, with Indicia. And that's a good service. I like them. I've been using them for years. And I haven't used this, per se, to print postage. This has been used basically for my own personal use. It's like having your own postage machine in your house. And it really works good. like I said, you can customize your labels. Well, not the postage ones, but over here you could put logos on there. Indicia, well, Dymo has it where you could customize your labels. You know, I don't know why it's not focused. I guess I'm too close. You could customize. You could put little logos on there, little pictures and stuff like that with that. But this is a nice unit to have if you're going to print stuff out. Like I said, with the postage, this is good for like personal use. But you could also, like I said, use it too. You know, you could use it for eBay. But the only thing is you won't have the tracking on there. So if you're going to use this to print out, you know, send out stuff, you're not going to have tracking. They do have certain labels on there. Another one I seen on eBay where it looks like they do have barcodes on them. But again, I think you have to have Indicia. You got to have a paid service. This right now, what I'm using is Indicia, but it's the free service. So I don't pay no monthly fees. But I think when you go to the paid monthly fees, then you could get all that other bells and whistles with it. So that's something you might consider. That cost me back in the day, I think $200. I think a little close to $200 back then. But I think they're coming down somewhat in prices. They have a regular Dymo. I think it's the 450 something X or whatever. It's got a different name to it. It prints those labels out, and it's a printer, but it's got a wide face on it. You might have seen them in there, and that prints out the barcodes like the ones you would see like in a postal service. Those machines, if I'm not mistaken, I thought I seen it between $300 and $400. I was considering getting one, but I said, you know what, not right now. I don't really need it. I've been printing my labels off the eBay website. You know, the shipping labels, you print them off there. The only drawback with that is you're using 8.5 by 11 paper, and when it comes out, the label is only this big. And then you got all that excess paper you got to cut. I go through a lot of paper. I had in the past where I cut it in half. I try to recycle it in my brother printer, my laser printer, and sometimes it doesn't grab it, so it becomes a problem. But again, even with that, I have a heavy-duty shredding machine, and what I do is any leftover papers I have from cutting out from the postage and stuff, I shred it. And when I'm making a little packages or stuff like that, it's got to go out fragile stuff, I go to my shredder, take the paper out, I put it in there, use it as packing. So everything I have, I utilize. I like I said, I try to recycle everything I have. That's why with the envelopes you see here that are cut in half, or a little piece like this, why would you do this? Most people just say this, throw this in the garbage. Why should you throw it in the garbage? You put a piece of tape here, you put a piece of tape here, right? Still got the backing on there. Just fold it up, and you could put like a little thing in it. You can, well, this won't fit in there, but I'm just saying, you probably, if it was bigger, you would do is tape the sides up, right? You tape the side here and here. You fold this up. I cut this a little too shallow, but and you could use this packaging. You put your label here. I usually put also the other thing I want to show you is where I got you here. Some people like to go out and buy those labels. You know, the rolls of labels that say fragile, not, you know, handle with care. Again, to be frugal and to save money, I print my own. Okay, I got my color printer. I got an HP all-in-one printer that does color, and this is the stuff I print out. Okay, here's the fragile, handle with care. And again, if you have a cutter, if you have a paper cutter, you can do this thing really quick. Slice, slice, slice. I cut it with scissors. So I print out this on my laser printer. I do it in red, right? And it serves the same purpose of buying a roll of paper, you know, one of those roll of labels. I print that when it says fragile, handle with care. Then I have two types. They're both the same, but only one has different things here. Now, let me just make sure I got the right one here. Okay, this one says over here, this one's the same thing, almost. Two labels, right? Now this again in red. This thing focused, there you go. If you notice, one says do not bend or crush, and the other one says do not drop or crush. Okay, I use these. I put these on my packages. I put these on, absolutely, I put these on my, when I'm sending out DVDs, any DVDs, anything. I don't care if it's in a box or not. I always put this one here. Do not bend or crush. I always put that on there with the fragile handle with care. Now, I don't know how other shippers do it. I want to make sure that package gets to my customers in one piece. You know, so that's why I said I print these up. I run out of them. I go to my computer, it's stuff like a hard drive, I print them out, 8.5 by 11, it gives me a whole bunch of these things here, and I could print them all I want, and I don't have to worry about ordering, or if I run out, let's say I did buy a roll and I ran out, I was like, oh, now what do I got? Now you got to start penciling, writing it in with a magic, I used to do it with a magic marker, and then I said to myself, I got a printer. I could do the same thing. What I got to write in there? I was writing in there, fragile, handleable care. Please do not drop or crush or whatever, bend or crush. And then I said to myself, I got the printer. I said, why not? You print your own things out. That's what I'm saying. And it's no big deal. You take a scissor, you cut the paper out, and you got it. You got it, and you can have all you want. And these last. Believe it or not, these last. You can print out maybe, I think, I don't know, on a full sheet. Well, this has been cut, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it might be more than that. It might be 20. I'm not sure. It depends how big you make the lettering. If you make it small, you could probably get, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 on a sheet. Depends how small you make it. I want it where they could see it. So that's another tip. If you don't want to buy the roll, you don't want to buy the rolls off eBay or whatever, and you say, what's the size? I think I've seen them for like $16. You get, I think, I don't know, 2, 4, 500 of them. The only thing is you're going to have to use the clear tape to tape them on there. So you take out a couple pieces of tape, boom, boom, put it on there. I said, well, you might go through a lot of tape. I don't worry about the tape. The tape is cheap enough. I get that again at Walmart, so I'm not worried about the cost of the tape. But if you want to save money and you want to do this business, and try to save money with your supplies, it's the better way to go. And as far as, like I said again, with the envelopes, not to keep rehashing it, if you don't want to buy all those different envelopes, do this. It'll work. Believe me, I've done it. And think about it. Just one last time, just to rehash it. Depending how you do it, if you do it this way, as you can see, you'll get two of them out here, 2, 4. You'll get 4 of them. Okay. So that's up to you. I mean, if you want to buy different envelopes, that's up to you. That's what I do, though. I do that all the time. I've been doing it for a long time. Never had a complaint. Post office don't complain. It's like this here. I mean, it's like this here. I got this pen in here. If this was a little bigger, this envelope, and this was sold, this is on eBay right now, but this is sold. It goes in there. Craft tape or clear tape. Craft. I do craft because it looks a little better. Fold it up in the back, put my labels on there, and out it goes. So it's up to you, folks. I mean, if you want to keep buying all these different envelopes, you want to buy all these different sizes, and I'm thinking of just going, the next time I run out of the stuff I have, I think I'm just going to buy a whole load of these here. And the thing I like about it, I sell pants, right? I sell clothes sometimes. The same thing. I put a pair of jeans in there, and I fold it up. It comes out to here, right? Let's say the jeans come out to here because sometimes they're very bulky, and I cut this in half. Not half, I cut it down here, right? And now I got this here to put more DVDs. I could put maybe 2 in here, maybe 2 or 1, depending on the size again. Yeah, if I could probably put 2 in these. So now, out of this one envelope, I was able to send jeans out, and plus I could send out some cartridges, small ones. So that's what I'm saying, utilize and save money, It's all about saving money in this business, and that's why I do what I do, and like I said, to me it works. So that's basically all I want to go over. I'm sorry if I went a little overboard with it, but I just wanted to share that with you. That's basically all I want to talk to you about. If you find this information helpful and you want to subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up, if not, that's fine too. I'm just trying to share the information with you, how I do my thing, and if it could help you out in any way and you find it to be helpful or useful, then that's fine. Just let me know. Send me just comment in there. Say, hey, Rich, I tried your method there and saving envelopes, and it helped me out. I'm not going to say if you're a power seller like that's selling large volume, you may want to, but you could cut that stuff down, pack them in there, ship them out. That's up to you. I mean, if I had like thousands of those things, I'm not going to sit there. Be honest with you, I probably won't cut one by one. But if you're doing like a 1-to-1 or doing 5 or 10 a day, whatever, it's no big deal of cutting them, putting them on there. You put the tape on the side, and it's good to go. In the meantime, and at the same time, you're saving money. And again, like I said, with this big box I got over here, I paid $1.32 for this here at Walmart. And again, I'm not saying everyone's going to do it. If you look at the videotape, I did a videotape on that, on making boxes, for keyboards. It's a lot of cutting. It's a lot of cutting, and but the thing is, the reason why I did that is because if you go the other route and use a carrier service, for their particular service, it's going to cost a lot of money. And I can tell you right now, I do sell keyboards on eBay. I find it very unlikely that a buyer, I'm not sure with the service, but I know it's something like $18. It's something ridiculous. If you're going to sell a keyboard for $12 or $10, and then you got to tag that shipping on there, I don't know about anybody else, but me personally, I would not buy from that buyer or that seller. I wouldn't do it because it's too expensive. I mean, I could probably go at that point. I can go to a store like Walmart and buy a Logitech or an HP keyboard complete set for less than it is to buy it off of eBay. So these are things you got to weigh out. It's like the apples and oranges. You got to weigh it out. And yeah, it's a lot of work making a custom box. I'm not going to deny it. But I'm thinking in the long run for the buyer, I'm looking out for the buyer's sake, how much money they're going to save in shipping. So, those flat rate boxes are nice. They're all packaged. You get the box, you get them for free. But you tape on them, you slap your label on, bang, it's gone. But the thing is, the person's going to sit there paying royally for that packaging. And I'm not going to do that to my sellers, my buyers. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I do this business because I enjoy doing it. I like it. I've been doing it since 1999 on and off. And if I could do something to help the buyer out, save money, I'm going to do it. It's like the Henry Ford, when he made his cars there, he wanted to make an automobile cheap enough so everybody could afford it. It's the same thing with this here. I mean, it's not like that on that level, but if I could help the buyer save money, I'm going to do it whenever I can. And even in my ads, like in descriptions and stuff like that, or like when you go to the auctions on eBay, you'll see I offer some fast and free shipping. I try to get the best deal for the buyers, and just to sum it up and close it up. When I do get stuff to put up on eBay, I try to get good material, good items and stuff like that. Things that are good quality. I try to go for brand names. In most cases, I don't like selling stuff that's off. I have I think right now a luggage, a laptop bag, and it's unbranded. I don't really like doing stuff like that, to be honest with you. It was given to me. I said, you know what? It's in very new condition. It's clean, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't really like selling unbranded items like that. And not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just me personally. I rather buy a Targus or one of those brand, a brief bag with a name on it, you know what I'm saying? Something that's, you're going to say, well, this is a good quality make or whatever. Although, it depends, you don't know where they're made from and what country they're made from, so the quality might be a little shabby. But I'm just trying to say in that respect. But that's all I wanted to touch bases with you on. And again, if you find this stuff helpful, if you look at some of the videos in the past, if you look at the one I'm talking about with the box, you might see it there. I think it's a total of 86 or 87 videos. Not much. It's not a lot of videos to me. It ain't. There's people out there probably got hundreds and hundreds of them. But if you ever check that one out, you'll see how I make the keyboard box. And I've been selling a lot like that. And it all has to do with this guy, And like I said, I show it from start to finish on how to make that box for keyboards. Whether people follow it or not, that's up to them. If you want to go out and buy boxes, or you want to use a carrier service, and you want to charge your customers or your buyers, whatever, top dollar for shipping and handling, go right ahead. I don't think you're going to be doing too much selling that way, but that's totally up to you. But I thought I'd share this information with you. And if I get any more little tips coming up on on how I do my business here, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. But thanks again for stopping by, and you have a great day. And while you're at it, check out the auctions. You can go to rjpasini at rjpasini.com on eBay user ID, and you'll see what I have to offer. And again, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. Bye now.